Hello, friends. Happy Thursday. Nancy Sawyer here for Let's Coach 2023. I'm back again. I missed last week. I really missed you guys. I missed doing this. I'm glad to be back. I help people to master midlife. I work with people to manage all things that happen in midlife, whether it's raising kids, raising teenagers, dealing with an aging parent, maybe losing a parent, maybe experiencing divorce, switching careers, all sorts of things that happen. So I help people navigate through the muddy waters that midlife can sometimes bring. It's been particularly muddy for me lately. And the great thing is I am a coach and I have lots of tools to use. And let me tell you, I am using them on myself every day. So I'm glad you're here. As always, there's a Q&A here. If you have questions or comments, or you're bringing something today with you that you'd like some coaching on, you can mention it in the Q&A, or you could also raise your hand. If you want, I can bring you up and you can be on screen or off, and we can do some one-on-one coaching. So whatever works for you. And if I don't get questions or any particular issues to address, what I will do is just speak from my heart and my stream of consciousness on, something that's been coming up for me or something I've experienced with clients lately, patterns I'm seeing, things that are coming up. So I'm glad you're here. Again, Q&A if you need it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna talk. I want to point this out the first because I just noticed this, that I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can read it, but it says, I notice how awesome you are. And there's a little heart on the bottom. And I was out about a week ago, just out with a group of people at it was actually an end of the year kind of party thing for a dance group that my daughter dances with. And a woman I know and admire very much pulled this out of her pocket and handed it to me. And I thought that was so special. It just says, I notice how awesome you are. And this is something she does just to make the world a better place and to make people feel good, to maybe change the trajectory of someone's day. She has these little note cards. She writes down nice, happy, inspirational messages. And then she just carries them around with her in her pocket, in her purse, in her backpack, and she just hands them out randomly whenever it strikes her, whenever the desire strikes her. I think that is such a beautiful thing. And I wanted to share that with you because since that happened, I've had this sitting actually right behind me next to my heart rock there. It's been there. And I just glanced at it again before coming on today. And, to make the world a better place, to share your legacy, to give someone a gift, it doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to be expensive. It does not have to take a lot of time. There are so many small ways that we can affect the world and affect positivity and bring more positivity, authentic positivity into the world. So I just wanted to mention that to you. And yes, I know that there's discussion these days of toxic positivity, and some people are just overboard positive to the point where some people feel it's nauseating. And I totally get that. I'm not for the false positivity, but it is a wonderful thing to say a nice word to someone, a kind word, to say something to make someone else smile. So I hope that me being here today helps you to smile and make your day a little bit easier. That is one of my missions as a coach and for partnering with Life Coach University for this Let's Coach 2023. So to get to today's topic that's coming up for me, I wanted to talk about the importance of purpose and ask you about your why. I want to ask you, what is your why? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about what makes life worth living? What legacy do you want to leave? What do you want to achieve in your life? And why do you want to achieve that? And when I say achieve, that does not necessarily mean more money, promotions, material things. It means, what do you want to achieve? Is it to be a wonderful parent? Is it to make a difference to a particular subset of people, to a particular demographic? Is it to spread love and joy and kindness and happiness? Is it to discover a new, discover the cure for cancer, discover something that's going to help make the world a better place? What is your why? We want to think about these bigger pictures, because when we try to change anything, or when we work towards a goal, when we decide we want to do something, change is hard. Change can be very, very difficult. And inevitably, we will bump up against times and decisions that are really hard for us. And if we are making goals or working towards something and we don't think about why we want that, it's a lot easier if you don't have a why to just turn off, to stop the goal, to quit. But if you think about your why, whether it's as simple as, eating better, eating healthier, exercising, not yelling at your kids, showing up to work on time. If that's something you struggle with, maybe you struggle with being late a lot. Maybe you just struggle to get out of bed in the morning. Maybe you struggle to work out regularly, or to eat well, or to manage your emotions when you're triggered. Maybe you struggle to keep yourself focused when you're at work. What do you struggle with? What are you seeking to change? But again, even beyond the what is the why. Why are you seeking to change? If, let's say, you sometimes go into work late and you decide, I need to get to work on time every day, 5 days a week. If the reason for that is, to get a promotion, or so the boss won't yell at you, that's fine. And those are good reasons. But when we seek to discover a deeper meaning to that, maybe it's because you'll feel more confident in yourself. Maybe it's because you'll be proud of yourself for keeping your commitments. Oftentimes when we reach a goal, there are multiple reasons and there are multiple benefits of reaching that goal. It's not just that now you're going to get the raise or the promotion. It's a domino effect. You see, also, perhaps in addition to getting that raise or that promotion, maybe now you also start feeling really good about yourself. You're starting to feel proud of yourself for making that commitment to show up on time, right? It's about being in alignment with your integrity, with who you want to be as a person. That's why it's important to take the time to step back, to breathe, to pause. You hear me say this often, and check in with yourself. What am I working towards? Why am I working towards it? Is it because of something that I want deep down? Or is it for just something that's on the surface? Is it for some sort of immediate gratification? Is it for some sort of outside validation? Depending on the reason you're going for these things, that is going to determine how successful you are and how you're able to push through when it does get hard. I have here my I guess I call it my compass. And this is something I've developed over a couple of years. And I just realized I've been in a pretty difficult space lately emotionally because of many things that life has thrown at me. It's also been a super busy time. And what I've realized is I've gotten away from reviewing my compass. I was in a really good routine for quite a while, a couple of years, of reviewing this, not every day, but at least a few times a week, sitting down as part of my morning routine, reviewing my compass. And my compass is what I call it. It's actually a compilation, if you will. It's kind of like a personal manifesto. It starts with my values, right? The things that I value, and I have a whole list of it. And I sat, and for each of these sheets, I sat with myself and got very clear about what is important to me and to my life and the person I want to be. And when we are in alignment with that, and when we can show up authentically, that's when we're going to live a life that feels fulfilling, that makes us happy, that brings us happiness and joy and positivity. So I have my values that I sat and went through. I have about 12 of them on here, 11. And then I went through the feelings that I want to feel. How do I want to feel on a daily basis? I want to feel, and I'm going to just read them for you. I want to feel calm. I want to feel confident. I want to feel loved. I want to feel eager and excited. I want to feel focused. And I want to feel accomplished. You see, when we identify this, then we can identify the actions and behaviors that give us these feelings, that result in these feelings. Many feelings are results after behaviors. There are feelings that come up before behaviors, and sometimes we act on them. And then there are feelings that are results after we take behaviors. Classic example I always use. After I go for a run, I feel like a rock star. I feel like I can do anything. I am so proud that I showed up for myself and did something good for myself, something that's healthy, that keeps me in an elevated mood and keeps me on a high frequency. So what are those things for you? What are those things? Maybe you can come up with a couple right now. The other things on my compass here are my passions, the things I'm very passionate about. I love challenging myself. I love health and fitness. I love exploring nature. I love connecting with the universe and with the larger world. I love sharing my story and my thoughts. And I love using my creativity and my wisdom to inspire and to motivate and to guide and to help others. And then I have my purpose. And yes, I spent hours writing and revising and re-revising and re-revising. What is my actual purpose here on earth? Life is short. It's long, but it's also short. And in this window of time that I get to be here and be human, what is my purpose? I believe we all have a purpose. And sometimes it takes a while to discover that. Sometimes it comes pretty easy. Have you ever considered that? What do you consider your purpose? You all have gifts, right? We all have gifts. We all approach life in our own unique way. We have our unique perspective. What is our purpose? And then I even go farther here. To live my purpose, I must. So for me, this is, how do I honor my purpose? If my purpose is to evolve myself and to help others and to encourage and guide and support others in their journey as a human being, as my purpose is to help others navigate through life, to help successfully experience the challenges of life. That's my purpose in a nutshell. Mine's longer, but so how do I live my purpose? What do I need to do to be able to live my purpose? And for me, it's about, I have to accept the gifts that the universe has bestowed upon me. I have to acknowledge them. I have to accept them. And I have to claim responsibility for developing them and for sharing them. It's something I take very seriously. I don't take this lightly. This gift of life. Every day is a gift. To live my purpose, I must be grateful for the opportunity that is in front of me right now with all of you, And after this is over, wherever I am, whoever I'm around, in whatever presence I am in whatever space, I have an opportunity to create. So also to live my purpose, I must cultivate my gifts, right? And that includes caring for my body so that I'm healthy. Self-care is huge. You know, I'm a self-care superstar, and I encourage everybody else to do that as well. You have to be a self-care superstar, because only after we take care of ourselves can we then live our purpose and take care of others and do things for the world. We have to make sure that we're in great shape so that we can show up for the world and live our purpose. This also means allowing time for rest and recharging, rejuvenation. This also means being serious about developing my skills, developing my talents, developing my gifts. And some of that translates to hard work, to studying, to learning, to practicing, to trying new things that might be a little scary or feel uncomfortable. But this is all part of a dedication to the craft of being the best human that I can be. And also to live my purpose, I must do the work. I have to show up. I have to show up for you here. I have to show up for my clients. I have to do all the other things that are part of being a coach and having a coaching business. And that does include some administrative stuff, some bookkeeping stuff, some scheduling stuff that might be like, take it or leave it, right? There are parts of all the things, even when we have wonderful gifts to share with the world, sometimes as part of those gifts, there are things that maybe we don't love certain parts of it. That's okay. We don't have to be happy and love every single minute of every day. As a matter of fact, it builds character when we do the things sometimes that we don't love but need to be done, right? Character, purpose, why. These are all things to consider. The other thing we must do when we're seeking our purpose, living our purpose, is to celebrate. Celebrate when we have a win. Celebrate when we do something that does make a difference. Celebrate that we lived another day full of life and full of joy and full of purpose. Celebrate each day. Understand that it is a gift. Another thing when you're working on a purpose is to stay disciplined. And that means saying no to things that don't serve your purpose, saying no to things that maybe don't help you to thrive, maybe that leave you feeling drained. So what are you trying to do? What are you trying to change in your life? What are you trying to change? What are you working on? Currently, I'm working on eating a little bit healthier. My eating habits have gone down the tubes as life has been super busy lately. You know, it's okay that sometimes things go up and down. It's okay. We kind of seek for an even keel, but life in general is often always going up and down, and it's okay. And what I seek for myself, and I encourage you to seek for yourself as well, is to know, to be strong enough internally so that when you're in those valleys that are difficult, you can still get through it. And when you're in those peaks where things are great, or those peaks where things are super busy and you're just going, that you can survive those times intact emotionally and with integrity, and still honoring the person you want to be. So that's something I'm working towards right now, is eating better. And I have a race coming up, a road race coming up in August, mid-August. So that's good for me because that means that I'll train. I'll be training for that race. I know about myself that if I don't have a road race event on the calendar, I tend to let my running practice dissipate. I don't make it a priority. And other things, because there's always other things that are more important than your priorities. There are always things that are important. There's all these important things coming at you every day. And it's your job to filter that and to remind yourself, what is my purpose? What are my goals? What am I focused on achieving? How am I focused on, how do I want to live? What is my way of being, of living, experiencing life? Because the world will tell you this is important, this is important, this is important, everything's important. So it's your job to have a very strong filter and to be very clear on what your purpose is, on the life and the goals that you want, and on saying no to the things that are not going to get you there, that are not going to bring that into your life, to the saying no to the things that don't help you manifest that into your life. Because when you have that purpose and you have that why, it pulls you forward. It pulls you. I often envision, I think about the things that are important to me, my integrity and being a great mom, raising healthy, emotionally and physically healthy human beings. I have 2 teenagers. And when I remind myself of my purpose, raising healthy, independent, fulfilled children who know how to manage themselves, who know how to make decisions based on who they are and the choices, the things they want. That is my goal as a mom. And sometimes the actions I want to take or the things I want to do are actually they don't seem like the right thing. Because I was raised a certain way by my parents. It's very easy to fall into patterns and to do it the way we were raised, right? I don't want to do that. However, I've chosen to raise my kids a different way. Sometimes we fall into that, well, just do it this way because this is the way I did it and this is the way I was taught and this is the way I've always done it. But when we remind ourselves of our purpose and what that future goal is, I envision 5-10 years down the line when my children are adults and how I want them to be able to experience life, the tools I want them to have. When I ask my children to do something and then they say, why? Why do I have to do that? Often my first inclination is to say, because I said so. Because I'm the parent and you should listen to me. That sounds awful, doesn't it? That's how I was raised. I was raised that kids don't talk back to their parents. The parents know best. And that's my first instinct. When they question something, when I say, can you please do this? Or I want to do this, or I want you to do that. Sometimes they say, why? And I have to breathe and not react. Because what I know is by answering them, by saying, because I said so, that doesn't raise them into a healthy adult. That raises them into a fearful adult who doesn't get answers, who isn't allowed to question, and who keeps their mouth shut. Because now I see them 10 years down the road at a job where their boss is asking them to do something, and maybe they don't understand why they should do that, or it doesn't make sense to them, or they have a different idea. But they're not going to ask because they were raised to just do as you're told. Do you see how these things play out? I see this because I see it in my clients all the time. And these are the things we unravel, right? Sometimes they come to me, they're struggling at work with something. And and we dig deep and we peel apart those layers and we dig deep. And a lot of times it comes back to how you were raised. And, oh, well, geez, I should never question authority, even if I don't agree, or even if I think I see a better way. Some of us, we have these things so ingrained in us. So again, I'm choosing to break generational cycles, and I'm choosing to be a great mom by raising my kids to ask questions. I encourage them to question me, and then we talk about it together. I give them my why. Like, well, this is why I want it done this way. Do you have a better idea? You know what? Sometimes they have better ideas. And that's very humbling as a parent. But only when we're willing to accept that we don't know everything. When we are willing to accept that we don't know everything, that's when great solutions come. Okay. It doesn't have to be my way or the highway. So again, my purpose is to help others, to encourage others, to help them grow, to help them be self-sufficient and self-serving, which sometimes is a dirty word, right? Self-serving, that's self-serving. Yeah, you have to serve yourself. You have to give yourself what you need to thrive. Absolutely you do. We need your gifts, right? So when I think of my purpose in being a mom is what I'm turning this around to, right? My purpose is to raise healthy adults who know how to make themselves happy, who know how to make decisions that are in alignment with who they are, who aren't afraid to question if they see something that doesn't look right. When I remind myself of that purpose, it helps me get through the little things when I want to nitpick or when I want to respond in a certain way. So again, just tying this back to my stream of consciousness here. What is your purpose? What is your why? Think about the things that you're trying to change in your life or that you wish were different or that you're working on changing. I'm sure there are things you're working on right now. Ask yourself why. What is my purpose for this, for making this change? What is the big purpose? You know, if we're going to eat differently, is it to lose 5 pounds or is it to live a healthier lifestyle? We want to go to the bigger picture things. Those things will sustain you when it gets hard. And you can remind yourself of those and how important that is when it gets a little challenging. So I invite you to take away from today an opportunity to get really clear on your purpose and on your whys. Maybe write it down. Maybe put it on a sticky note on the mirror in the bathroom. Maybe create a fun little document like I did. Whatever works for you. Maybe write it in your journal. Whatever works for you. Think about your purpose and your whys. And that's going to carry you through when things get hard. And when you're unsure, and how important you are, because you are very, very important. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for joining me today for Let's Coach 2023. I am Nancy Sawyer. I'm here for Life Coach University. And if you want to learn more about me, you can go to nancybsawyer.com. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you again next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much.